The race for AI dominance heating up today. You got two of the sector's biggest players releasing their latest offerings. Elon Musk's SpaceX AI launching the latest version of its Grok model. Its first release since SpaceX went public and bought the AI coding startup, or officially announced that it would do so with Cursor. SpaceX AI, I'm going to have to say this 3 times fast, claims the new Grok outperforms some OpenAI and Anthropic models on speed, price, and performance, but not their latest and largest models. Speaking of OpenAI, it's releasing its latest version of its GPT model. Let's bring in Jack Hidary, CEO of SandboxAQ, which recently announced a new agreement with Alphabet to bring its models to Google Cloud Marketplace. Jack, it's great to have you on the show. We got a lot to talk about here today, but let's start.
Morning, good to see you.
Let's start with some of these models, the release of some of these models, and then let's get into Sandbox specifically.
Sure, it's very exciting. The LLMs continue to outdo each other in terms of conversational AI models. They're gaining new features. They're getting more human conversational thought patterns, more reasoning, which is important if you want to do high impact work. So the LLMs really seeing great productivity there. But complementary to that, Morgan, as you mentioned, are the LQMs, large quantitative models. So LLMs are fantastic for the digital world. You want to produce a document, an image, a video. That's your choice there. Get the LLMs to use that to make that happen. But if you want to make something in the real world, if you want to make a new drug for cancer, for Alzheimer's, if you want to make a new material for batteries, as you know, we just won the award. Very proud to say we won the award from the CHIPS program of the Department of Commerce, $500 million award for our LQMs, our quantitative models that can produce novel battery chemistries that do not depend on foreign sources of raw input, new magnets, new catalysts that will help stand up our semiconductor industry here in the United States without foreign dependency. So LLMs, great news today from SpaceX AI, from OpenAI, from others, but now also seeing the rise of the LQMs with SandboxAQ and the recent award from the Department of Commerce as well.
Yeah, and of course, when we're talking about large quantitative models, which is where you play, that perhaps speaks to why you've just done this deal with Google Cloud as well.
That's correct. So when we think about large enterprise customers, think about pharma companies, chemical companies, energy companies, governments. Think about Google Cloud, one of the 3 premier clouds out there. Now, for the first time, those customers can go on GCP Marketplace and access the SandboxAQ large quantitative models. What can they do with them? They can do stuff in the real world. They can make new medicines, new diagnostics. They can make new batteries, new materials, new construction materials, new materials for the energy sector, oil and gas sector. These are fundamental sectors to our economy. 85%, Morgan, 85% of our economy is quantitatively based. That's where these LQMs come in, and very proud to partner with Google and Google Cloud specifically to now have it on the GCP marketplace.
I want to go back to this deal you just did with Department of Commerce as well, because as part of the deal, the U.S. took a stake in SandboxAQ as well. What went into that, and why is that meaningful for both partners?
Well, I think it's great. You know, many countries out there have a sovereign wealth fund. Norway has a very successful one now at $2 trillion. The Gulf countries have been very successful with theirs. Singapore specifically has had a huge amount of success with its sovereign wealth funds, Temasek and others. And it's time that America really has a sovereign wealth fund to really push forward the core technologies that advance our economy. And I see this investment in SandboxAQ and in other companies that the Department of Commerce and other parts of the government are implementing as really part of a larger picture of a sovereign wealth strategy that builds value for the American taxpayer, builds value for our country, builds resiliency so that we can build semiconductors in America, so that we can build the advanced pharmaceuticals in America as well.
So as somebody who's on the front lines of some of this deal making that we are seeing, to your point, within the context of sovereign wealth fund dynamics here, is your expectation that we're going to see more of those types of equity stakes taken in more of the tech companies? I mean, we've had reports on OpenAI, for example.
I do think we're going to see more of it. The Department of Commerce recently announced letters of intent in a number of quantum hardware companies. I think that could be a very big positive for that sector. And what's critical is that the United States government has a number of key experts that it has at its disposal from the national laboratories and others. There's a lot of tech knowledge within the national laboratories that it can use to drive its decision making. And I do think that we'll see more of this kind of investment from the U.S. government.
Okay, I feel like we just scratched the surface. Jack, you're going to have to come back so we can continue this conversation. Jack Hidary of SandboxAQ, it's great to have you on.
Great to see you, Morgan.